produced some business records and information from Switzerland. It did not produce any account information disclosing U.S. client names.
That's correct, yes.
And the reason was Swiss secrecy laws. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Now, the bank must have known that U.S. has case law bundled under the Bank of Nova Scotia line of cases that says if a bank is based in a secrecy jurisdiction but does business in the United States, and if it gets served with a grand jury subpoena, that the U.S. interest in criminal prosecutions outweighs the foreign jurisdiction's interest in secrecy, and that the bank must produce under that line of cases the requested information. Are you aware of that line of cases?
Yes, I am.
And so you knew that the day would come when the bank might be subpoenaed for information in Switzerland, and that a U.S. court would order the bank to honor the subpoena. But what actually happened here is that instead of enforcing the grand jury subpoenas in a U.S. court to obtain the U.S. client names in Switzerland, the Department of Justice put the subpoena on hold, and in September 2011 filed a treaty request instead to obtain the names. Is that true?
Yeah, I think so.
And that treaty request took 2 different requests, 2 court decisions, 2 years, and we ended up with 238 accounts with U.S. client names. Is that correct?
That's correct, because the treaty request was made under the current 1996 treaty with the very tough standard. And as soon as the new treaty would be ratified, you would get, I'm convinced, many, many more, probably thousands of account names.
Well, I understand, but there also were 1,500 accounts, were there not, which were organized in the same way that the 238 came from. Those were the ones that were set up in the third country's jurisdictions using shell corporations. Is that correct?
You're talking about entity accounts. That's correct. Now the Swiss Administrative Federal Court has set up conditions under which they consider these entities to have fall under this tax fraud or the like standard, and only 238